And full disclosure, I am a little wiped out today. I had my COVID booster yesterday, and I thought that is the most misnamed thing at all of all time. I do not feel boosted in the least. I feel like I could sleep all day. But anyhow, great to be able to join you folks today, even in the midst of that. And today, what I wanted to talk about, was just this idea of waiting and how kind of waiting works and patience. Because boy, can life just can overwhelm sometimes, and it's interesting. I know for myself, I imagine for most of us on this call, we can go through stretches where it just doesn't feel that way. Where sometimes I wonder, if somebody were to tell me that, like, where I go, I don't know what you're talking about. And then there's other times. This past week has been one where it just feels like there's so much, and there's so much to figure out, and it's totally overwhelming. And how do you do it one step at a time? And how do you communicate and connect, and who are you missing and who are you not, with communication, all that's my own stuff. But all that stuff goes racing through my head sometimes, and sometimes it can feel, frankly, overwhelming. And I would imagine that is true for some of you folks here today as well. And of course, the Christmas story has parts in it that no doubt were overwhelming. I mean, it was super fun yesterday preaching on Joseph. I highly recommend you go back and take a look at the service. There's a beautiful story in there that some parishioners from South Dakota shared with me that really kind of drive it home. And his story. And there is just, like, how do we do that? Like, I wonder that a lot. Like, how do we do that when it can all feel so overwhelming so much of the time, where there's a million demands and a million asks, and how do you sort of sort through all that? Is challenging. How do we actually, and in this day and age, how do we actually get time off, time where we're actually away from technology? That's a bit of a curse of this age. So I want to read with you a beautiful line that might just give you a little bit of comfort. And this is from Isaiah 40:31. And we're going to spend some time here with prophecies and the what Walter Brueggemann famously called the prophetic imagination. So the prophetic imagination means that we read through these ancient prophecies, and they help us to reimagine a different world. And it's not just like prophecies like, here's the winning lottery numbers. It's not that at all. It's much more process based. And as I said yesterday, at New Church Live, it's much more of finding peace. And I think this is really important. I can't live this at all, by the way, but it's really important. It's much more about finding peace in the leap than in the landing. Oftentimes we hold peace, like, I'll feel at peace when, if, fill in the blank. And I don't think that's the peace God's really offering. I think the peace that God is offering is like in the middle of the mess, in the middle of the jumping out of the airplane, in the middle of the challenge. Like, can we find spots of peace in there? Famous quote from the New Church is, peace has if in it confidence in the Lord that he leads to good things. And that idea of like confidence, it's like, okay, I'm going to make this leap. And you'll hear parts of that in this prophecy. It's a beautiful one. It's quoted a lot. Probably some of you know it. Probably some of you hearing it for the first time. Regardless, just like take a little breath and just listen. But those who wait on the Lord, or wait for the Lord, shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Boy, it's a beautiful line. It's the idea that part of life actually is waiting. It's waiting for something that's in God's time, and not in ours. And it's not waiting for a thing. Like the way this waiting gets answered. I love the way this psalm goes. The way this waiting gets answered is with movement. That seems to me to be really important. I'm so leery, being 56 years old, I'm so leery of formulas. Like, here's the 5 steps to blah, blah, blah. I'm just so leery of that. And I do feel like there is a way we can keep coming back to how God's going to hold us through it all. That idea of they will mount up like wings, like the wings of eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. You're going to be able to fly. You're going to be able to run. You're going to be able to walk. And that movement is so much about what God promises and what God offers us. And it kind of takes our minds, kind of shifts our paradigm a little bit. I was just, yeah, I was thinking this morning as I was getting ready for this. So much of it to me is a little hint of the beginning of the creation story, where God's spirit hovers over the water, and that to me is a lot of the patience part. Like knowing that God's spirit is there, it's hovering over the waters. Our job is to do what's right in front of us, do the best we can, leave the rest to grace, till the field, leave the rest to grace, however you want to say that. Trust the jump, not the, don't worry about the landing. And through that, maybe we can just find a little bit of peace, because I imagine a lot of you, like, we're still adjusting to so many things that have changed and will continue to change over the next few years. We're definitely one of those time periods. So that's my thought for you, dear friends, is that just, if you're in a time of waiting, just breathe. No easy answer. Just, and know that God's there too. And God's promise here is this beautiful, beautiful concept of moving, how movement can look, and how it can be in our lives. So just I think a beautiful part of the prophecy of Advent. So with that, friends, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little meditation here. I'm going to offer a little meditation, and then we're going to do a prayer and a blessing, and then we're going to close with saying hello to people. So if you want to leave a note on New Church Live's Facebook page, that would be terrific. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and bring you peace and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's just give a cheery hello to anyone who has joined us here. It just takes me a second to pull it up. And and I hope you all had a great weekend. We certainly had a very busy one in our lives, which is always good. All right, here are our comments here today. Linda, good morning to you, my friend, and I'm looking forward to our dinner with everyone on Thursday night. That'll be a lot of fun. Patricia, good to see your heart there joining us this morning. Sherry, good morning from rainy Tennessee, and good morning back at you from cold area Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Paige, good morning to you. Susan, great to have you joining us live. It's fun. It's fun to have these little conversations. Rainy in Ohio. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. And yeah, dreary day. Hope you have a good one. I'm sure we will. And best of wishes to everyone with that. So folks, wishing you all the best. Have a great day. God bless.